No fewer than 5 decisions Brighton were up in arms about, and Howard Webb has had to apologise over the Højbjerg tackle on Matoma not being awarded as a pen. I actually think there were 3 nailed-on, blatant, wrong decisions in this game. The worst was the long lay shirt pull on Lewis Dunk. I mean, it is the most obvious penalty you have ever seen. The Matoma one, especially after you've seen it in slow-mo and you've watched the replays, the VAR's got to spot that. The disallowed goal for handball, where it hits McAllister on the hip, Welbeck's effort hits the hip of McAllister and goes in. I think you can't rule that out because there's no clear evidence that it hits the hand. It just hits the side of the hip. So that's a goal. Listen, if it hits his hand, that's different. But I don't think that the evidence is there to suggest that it's hit his hand. So that's a goal. So that's 3 nailed-on decisions. Now, I have to explain that the Matoma one where he chests the ball down and it hits the side of his arm and then he sends it into the back of the net, that's handball. Now, I know that people will look at it and say it's not handball, but like if you're watching the YouTube podcast now, I'm going to put a little graphic up on the side of the screen which shows you that they changed the advice on the T-shirt line during the summer of 2022 to define that the T-shirt line is not really the T-shirt line. It's the bottom of the armpit crease. So it's a lot higher up. This is where it's supposed to be, up here. And it hits blatantly down here on his arm. And I think Darren Cann, who is a very good assistant referee, spotted that straight away, flagged, and even pointed to the side of his arm. It is the upper arm, but it's not above the T-shirt line, according to law. So that one was right. The rest of them, guff. Just absolute guff. What on earth are you doing? I mean, what are you looking at? What replays are you looking at? Are you watching Netflix in there? Come on.
Well, yeah, and there's a wider issue. You know, Brighton have built up quite a dossier of big decisions they feel have gone against them. Not only are they unsatisfied with the explanation from the PGMOL about some of those calls this weekend, including the sending off of De Zerbi, by the way. His charge, I think, will be failing to control his bench. Brighton would argue actually he was doing the exact opposite of that. He was trying to diffuse the situation. Maybe reputation has gone against him.
Which is a surprise because usually he's a hothead.
Yeah, exactly. And there you go. Maybe that's what the officials felt as well. But I think they want an explanation about the wider issues that have gone against them this season. That would be quite unprecedented. It's not going to get them any points back. And that defeat probably ends their hopes of a top 4 finish. And that's why they feel so hard done by.
But hold on, right? How can this be acceptable? How can this be acceptable? If it ends their top 4 hopes, that's robbing a team of over £100 million potentially. They could get into the top 4. That changes their identity as a club.